freedoms that they fought for, it is our responsibility to vote and honor those men and the women in the military by what they have given for us. I want to tell you an amazing story about my son, Mark Allen Lee. The day that he willingly gave his life, it was 115, 120 degrees outside. Mark stood about 6 foot tall. He weighed about 200 pounds. But in addition to his own weight, he carried the M60, the big gun. So he carried anywhere from 150 to 180 pounds in addition to his own weight. The day that he willingly gave his life, it was 115, 120 degrees outside. They had been in a fierce firefight for 2 hours under heavy fire. There were 4 of the SEALs that were on the rooftop. Mark's buddy Ryan had been severely injured, and they could tell by looking at him it didn't look good. They didn't know if he would survive the next few moments, and unfortunately they did not have a medic on the rooftop. 2 of the SEALs dropped to their knees to help Ryan. Mark could have made that very same choice and probably been with me today. But this young man made the choice to stand up into that heavy fire to provide the cover so they could get down off of that roof, or they could get the medic up to the roof. The medic got up there and he evaluated the situation and said, "We've got to get Ryan out of here immediately or there's no chance for survival." So not once, but a second time, Mark made the choice to stand up into that heavy fire again to provide the cover so they could get down off of that roof. They all successfully got down off that roof and they went back to the base. And I'm proud to tell you that today in Ramadi, Iraq, there is a base named Camp Mark Lee in his memory. Chief came in and he said, "We just found 30 of the insurgents that just attacked us. Are you guys up to going back out?" My first trip to Iraq, I got to visit Camp Mark Lee. I know on the other side of that base is a Marine base. And if they'd asked me, I said, "Go find some of the Marines who are fresh, who haven't been out in battle in the last 24 hours and are ready to go." But that wasn't the character of this young man, nor is that the character of the Navy SEALs. Mark looked at his chief and he looked him in the eye and he said, "Roger that, let's go get him." So they went back into Ramadi. They cleared several houses and they went in the last house Mark would be in. They cleared the bottom of the house and they started to go up the steps and they heard Mark yell, "On me!" And if you've served, you know that meant he was going to take the lead and they were to follow. And as they went up those steps, they drew fire through a window. And for the last and final time, Mark made that choice to turn into the line of fire to defend his buddies. But he didn't do that just for his buddies. He did that for each and every one of you who are here today. He did that for everyone in America. He did that for the freedoms we enjoy each and every day. I miss that young man so deeply, but I am so proud of him. He gave up all of his tomorrows so that we could have our todays. And we can't waste the todays. Just like Mark made a choice, each one of you have choices that you need to make. He ran into the line of fire and bullets, but in case you hadn't noticed, we've got political insurgents in Washington, D.C., and we're under fire here at home. And what I want to know from you, will you make that same choice? Will you make that choice to take our country back and make sure we get back on the Constitution and be the country our founding fathers intended it to be? Will you say, "Roger that, let's go get them"? I am so proud of all of the men and women. Personally, I want to thank you for the sacrifice you've made so every morning I can wake up and be grateful for the freedoms that we have here in America. I want to continue to thank you, to honor you, and let you know that we at the Tea Party Express love and appreciate all of you, and we will never forget the sacrifice that you have made for our freedoms. To do that, I'd like to call Diana Nagy back up to sing a song, "Where Freedom Flies."
Thank you so much, Debbie. This is our favorite part of the program, to honor all of you. It is a privilege to stand before you and honor you and salute you, our troops, who are #1 in our country. Because of you that we're standing here today. And it's for you that I wrote this song. My mom and I wrote this song for you. We've dedicated it to you, to my Uncle Mike, to Mark Allen Lee, to all who've served to keep our flag flying at unreachable heights. My Uncle Mike Nagy was one of the last planes shot down in World War II. He was on his way home, had flown his last mission, when he came across the USS Independence. He was a gunner and a torpedo bomber. He'd already been shot down once and pulled out of the South Pacific. The USS Independence was short a torpedo bomber, and he volunteered to go back again for one last mission, of which he never returned. The day the war was declared over was the day my grandparents received the news. So as there was dancing and laughter and celebration in the streets, the war was over, they received the telegram their son wasn't coming home. He was MIA. A couple years later, when my father served, he went to Maya Harbor where his brother had gone down to search for him to see if he was still alive. He came across an elder in that village that remembered that day vividly, and that in and of itself was miraculous. He took my father out in a little fishing boat, and there my father, to the exact spot where his brother had gone down. And there my father had stood and prayed upon the grave of his brother at the bottom of the sea. This song goes out to Michael Nagy, to Mark Allen Lee, to all you who've sacrificed for us, for our freedoms. It's because of you that we stand here today, and it's for you that we continue to fight for our freedom. Amen. America, the song is for you, and it's called Where Freedom Flies. And our brave ones held this flag, held it proud up to the sky, so the rest of us can live where freedom flies. In the memories that live in our heart is the cost